we start a collaboration between the Netherlands side and Kuwait University when it comes to student exchange, master's program, R&D and research. The second part is talking and discussing with the Kuwaiti entities on how to go about establishing a roadmap on hydrogen in Kuwait, that being the governmental entities, the private entities, and so on. The third area of collaboration is yes, the third area of collaboration is the business side, how the businesses in Kuwait, the businesses of the Netherlands can collaborate together, and we have and here our expert in one of the incubators in Kuwait. So thank you all, thank you for your participation. I would like to start off with Dr. Halim Al-Abra, Assistant Vice President of External Collaboration. Dr. Halim, how can the Netherlands side collaborate with Kuwait University? Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Muhammad. Is that working?
Yeah, just speak in the mic.
Okay. So, hi everyone. I'm Dr. Halim Al-Abra. I'm Assistant Vice President of External Research and Collaboration. So basically what my office does is we manage agreements between different collaborations, whether it's through one specific researcher collaborating with an institution, or whether it's basically an agreement between two institutions in general. So usually we also do that with the academic affairs sector. And so a lot of the agreements have came out of funded research projects. So we do it either that, with just a certain institution in the Netherlands, or it could be a full-fledged university. We've also been doing lately, we've been getting a lot of joint patents. So we also, we do patents, we fund the whole process from A to Z, as long as you're doing it with someone at Kuwait University. So that's another way in which we can collaborate. So we have agreements, we have collaboration, joint funded research, and patents. So that's in general. If you have any more specific questions, I could go into more detail.
Thank you, Dr. Halim. Dr. Volko, we would like to hear your thoughts on how, since you are a business expert, an energy expert, a coach, also who as well, Mr. Patrick, how can the Netherlands side, what are the expectations from the Netherlands or your side with Kuwait University? What are your intentions? What are you looking for? What are your expectations?
Well, thank you very much. I think for the Dutch, it's very interesting to set up a cooperation, and cooperation between universities and business are, of course, different type of things. So if you want to set up a cooperation with the university, within our New Energy Commission, we have the University of Groningen, and the University of Groningen, and maybe some of the other universities, we should discuss with them how we can set up this thing with student exchange, and especially with building a curriculum. I showed you that one of the universities is willing to become a European hydrogen campus. So I think we should connect with them and find out how we can enhance cooperation between that institute and the university. The second step, and you saw that happens a lot in the Netherlands as well, we have what we call executive training. Then the university works together with business people and set up executive training programs. And the third step is, of course, is joint research. And then you have to look at specific topics and from these universities see where there is alignment with the goals that they have, But we invest heavily in research in hydrogen, so we are very much interested in universities that are doing similar things. And I already saw some examples of patents, etc., that we should discuss.
Thank you, Dr. Volko. The second point I want to discuss is the student exchange between the Netherlands and Kuwait University or Kuwait institutions. Can you elaborate on that, Dr. Volko, or who?
Maybe I'm sure.
Yeah.
Might be been teaching for many years at university, so I think we have a quite strong background in that, and maybe we can add something to that. I think that we are very much open to student exchange, yet we have also particular issues in there. That means that there are so many students in our university, we have to very well describe what we want to do and how to organize it. Yeah, because in the Netherlands, for young people, housing, to take something very simple, is a very stretched thing, so we have to find out how to do that. But basically, yes, we are open for student exchange and can organize it and have to describe how many people could participate.
Thank you. The last topic or the last issue regarding the academic exchange is really the master's program, which we are very interested in. Can you tell us more about the master's program? How would it work between the two institutions, or is it one side, is it Cornell? Please elaborate on that.
I think the best part of it is online. And what we see all around the world, there are a lot of projects, but we need those information, this education, and small parts. Don't make it too big just in the beginning. Just start small, start with small projects, start with small maybe exchanges for students, and look where it starts, and then we will increase in those volumes, and we will make it bigger and make a bigger exchange of the universities of Kuwait, universities in the Netherlands, and where we focus on in the Netherlands and where we focus on this hydrogen program is to get the knowledge we have built in the Netherlands all around the world. That it is focused on the area everybody is living and is working. Not the Netherlands stage or the engineers of the Netherlands who have all those information. No, it has to be on the place where the projects are. So it has to be here in Kuwait. That's, I think, the main point we want to have. And I think it's good to have exchange with each other to look, okay, what's going on, and maybe not for a year, but make it a week, something like that. Start small and then make it big.
Thank you. I would like to bring to your attention that if you have any questions, please feel free to ask the panel. Yes.
Historically, the development of safety standards associated with new energy and technologies have taken place after any incident happened, which had a significant impact. Is there any proactive effort to develop standards, since hydrogen is now getting into more different areas that were not there before and out of the borders of industry? So what are proactive safety standards or regulations being developed to develop that?
Thank you. I will hold that question for the panel because we're just concluding the academic side. Once we conclude the academic side, we'll address this question. I think regarding the academic side, thank you, Mr. Group. Dr. Hamid, would you like to elaborate more on collaborations, patents? Sure. You have a few minutes. I know you need to leave. That's fine.
No, it's fine. So like I said before, basically sometimes we have, first of all, there has to be the Jihaz al-Academy, which is a database from the government under the Ministry of Education. So first we have to check that the university is under there. Then we go into the process of forming an agreement. So the agreements are usually general, so that you can go anywhere you want to with the projects or with anything. The patents are a little bit more specific. Usually it's just one researcher that has a patent, or it could be a researcher from their university, our university, and then they could collaborate together. So in terms of the collaboration, it really depends on who's collaborating and which way we can go. Sometimes we have third-party agreements between us and KFAS, which is the Kuwait Foundation for Advancement of Sciences, and then a third institution. So depending on what the collaboration is, the only obstacle we've been facing is with businesses. Even taking a patent and commercializing it. We can't do that because we're still trying to basically, we need a holding company to actually do that. And so what's something we're working on now, you know, of course with the strict regulations it's very difficult, but basically if we can overcome that, we can start bringing in businesses and then we can actually commercialize some of the patents. And some of the patents that we have are great patents. So that's to make a long story short.
Thank you, Dr. Hanin. I think this concludes the first topic. Yes.
Thank you very much for this lectures about hydrogen production. And there is a lot of questions still needs answered, like which technology is efficient for hydrogen production? What other challenges for hydrogen storage, hydrogen economy, and hydrogen marketing? I think we need accurate answer for these questions. At the same time, natural gas is depleted everywhere, and it's the main source for hydrogen production. So we have to look at another source for hydrogen production. For example, in Netherlands, they have only one facility for hydrogen production from electrolysis. And I am wondering, in Netherlands, they are going to expand this or to make another facility for hydrogen production. And they are going to utilize wind energy, for example, in Netherlands for hydrogen production. Thank you very much.
Nothing down out and from PIC, the International Business Research. As a representative of the PIC recently, we want to explore ways in which we can educate the new employees that are coming into the sector on the direction that the entire industry is going, be it green energy, and how green hydrogen or blue hydrogen or whatever of the standards hydrogen can be produced from plastics. And I was wondering how we can build bridges between entities like now, like CGNI, and the companies themselves, like the one I work at PIC or the KBC, and have the bridge be inclusive of K-Pass or KISM or even Kuwait University to try and shift the culture towards a more green approach towards it.
Thank you. I see the questions are geared towards the hydrogen production and the value chain of the subject matter. With that, I would like to direct my attention to one of the experts here, Dr. Sabah Al-Salem, in the subject matter regarding hydrogen. Dr. Sabah, would you like to talk about yourself? And definitely the white paper on hydrogen, you are one of the founders of that paper, please, and give your opinion on the subject matter.
Thank you very much, Dr. Mohammed, and thanks to Kuwait University and the Netherlands Embassy for holding this timely topic. In fact, the hydrogen is a hot topic worldwide, and almost every day we have receiving an invitation here or there to attend workshop or conference or inauguration of a new project everywhere else. But the question, as usual, we are facing when we develop the white paper that we developed about 3 years now, in collaboration between Kuwait Foundation for Advancement of Science and ABC, to draw the attention of decision makers about the importance of this topic. The dilemma that we face usually with hydrogen is the demand. Producers will hesitate to invest the high capital required if there is no guarantee for demand. If you see the NEOM project, it will never have the financial closure without securing the uptake ahead of time. Same thing with the Oman and the UAE projects. So the dilemma start first. The applications, deployment of hydrogen, whether in mobility, in electricity production, or heavy industry, or we should reduce abundance of hydrogen so that we can make it cheaper enough for consumers to buy. This is the big dilemma in terms of the hydrogen economy worldwide, of course, we in Kuwait still a little bit hesitate, but we are monitoring what's going on around, and we hope that at a certain time we can pick up a demonstration project either for blue or green hydrogen. The other point I would like to highlight is the energy transition. In fact, the drivers to push for hydrogen worldwide is to achieve the zero emission targets that we committed individually by different countries, either by 2050 or 2060 or beyond. And this will not happen unless we guarantee the three key pillars of energy transition. First is the renewable energy. We have to have abundance of renewable energy production, although the highest share of power generation investment the last 2 years in a row was for solar and wind, more than conventional power plant, but still this is a small portion of what is required for nations to achieve zero emission targets. So renewable energy, the first pillar. Energy storage is the second big pillar, and I consider hydrogen as part of the energy storage because it is a kind of storing energy from one form, greater form to a cleaner form, so that you can use it in the place at the time required. And the third, of course, key pillar is the carbon capture. Unless we master these three pillars, I think the energy transition targets will be costly, and it won't be achieved by the preset dates announced by many nations and countries. And I do hope the COP28 next month or after 2 months in UAE will address key issues that facing the target everybody looking for, to at least on one hand to capture the carbon from emission, and the second hand to retrieve the carbon already being emitted for the last 150 years. Probably this will add, in short, to the discussion, the fruitful discussion we heard soon. Thank you.
Regarding who starts first, the production or the use, I remember I did a small research on what are the policies and where are they located regarding pushing the hydrogen topic. Actually, most of the policies, governmental policies, whether it's economic support or mandates, are geared towards the production, not the end use. This creates that dilemma. And even if we look at the sector regarding end use, there are some policies regarding end use. They're mostly towards electric cars, small scale, and I'm not sure why, to be honest with you. Maybe some of the experts from the Netherlands can elaborate on that, and where you see the next policies going.
Well, if you look at the Dutch policies, and also in Europe, you see that simply has put a tremendous pressure also on the industry to reduce carbon emission by things like 30–40%. So that's why, for example, the BASF, the big company from Germany, they are partly the biggest customer of the newest wind park that was built in the North Sea. 1.5 gigawatt is half of that will go to BASF because simply by law they are forced to do that. So it starts with the production, but of course afterwards it's also forcing almost the industry to go in that direction. And of course it will be a difficult case in court, but you can see also in Europe many court cases are there. So people are forced to do that because we see that the cost of climate change in our region could be tremendous. And then it's forced by law. And of course it's extremely expensive. So if Shell, for example, takes such a step, they get heavily subsidized really by the European Union and the Dutch to assist in making it a not too big loss in the beginning. But if you don't do that, you're far away from gas prices as long as they stay low. And I showed in my presentation, last year they were 10 times, 50 times, sometimes even 30 times bigger than the year before. So as soon as it starts exploding, you need this kind of solution. But when and how to time that is extremely difficult.
Thank you very much. I would like to ask Engineer Sabah from KPI about hydrogen in Kuwait. What are the potentials? What is KPI doing? And what are your insights regarding the subject matter?
Thank you. Of course, what and quality assurance with managing and international KPI really facing the other front where we operate policies. Yes, the legislation is too harsh. That forced KPI where we operate to change, transform to the business model to be more bright. We're talking about hydrogen. Hydrogen in Europe, talking about 2030, the heavy industry is moving towards clean hydrogen. So now it is a KPI thinking as an opportunity to see what's the best partnership to join forces and see how we could move towards being ready in 2030. Now, in Kuwait, as well in Kuwait, the policies still where we stand in the policies, but it doesn't mean that we still need to stay on the Kuwait has a potential in being as the source of energy as crude. They could have a great platform for big investment for producing hydrogen. We have ammonia, we have experience in ammonia plants. That's a potential investment. But what we're saying is we have Far East meetings with Mitsubishi. They see Kuwait as a big partner to build grassroots, whether it's not green field of hydrogen supply for the supply chain, either for their customers in Kuwait, the IOCs could be a potential for long-term relation of selling the crude. So essentially, I would say they are really putting a lot of their resources invested in trying to do big investment to build a grassroots potential hydrogen plants in Kuwait. So the future is complied with the policies. As you said, the cost. Now, the Middle East is we will be putting a lot of funds. So net zero 2050, yes, it's a relaxing target, but I think we need to take an opportunity in Kuwait to do major investment to be an hydrogen producer for the future of the state of Kuwait, unlike the other system that we have.
Thank you very much. I would like to raise 2 points. One of them is, as we saw from the presentations, that natural gas is really the feedstock, the main feedstock for hydrogen production. Now, my question is towards the Kuwaiti experts. Would that be a limiting factor or a challenge to Kuwait in entering the hydrogen market? Is that yes or no? And what are the technologies, the feasible technologies in Kuwait for us to start with hydrogen production? The second question is for Mr. Patrick. As you heard from the guests, that there are so many partnerships, projects in Kuwait. Maybe you can elaborate on what you envision a hydrogen valley in Kuwait looks like. But before I go to you, I'd like to have Dr. Sultan talk about maybe hydrogen, natural gas production in Kuwait, what are the other alternatives? I know you do waste to hydrogen. So Dr. Sultan, you can elaborate on that.
Thank you very much, Dr. Mohammed. It's a very interesting and interlinked question that requires two, maybe threefold answer. I just would like to start off by saying a very quick note and mentioning you mentioned clearly about policies and what we're driving. I was fortunate enough once upon a time, many years ago, to be there when the first hydrogen pump was commissioned in Japan. And the reason for that was a policy and a governmental policy that took place and by law had to basically trickle down all the way to hydrogen pumps. So there has to be some sort of an initiation somewhere, somehow, from top tier level, top to bottom approach, so on and so forth. So that's one. Opportunities in Kuwait are plenty, and probably one of the answers I'm going to give is I'll touch base with what PIC has already mentioned. I believe the gentleman from PIC mentioned something about plastic to hydrogen. That is a technology available, doable. Probably remember that orangish, greenish slide I showed, which shows the spectrum of renewable sources, so on and so forth, including solid waste management as well. Now, the hindering factor for that is basically the money part, investment. Taking the TRL level from 2, 3, all the way to commercial 9. That requires major investment and major return on investment, especially for Kuwait. You're talking about a country that lacks at the moment an infrastructure for solid waste management. On the other hand, there are also other opportunities in the downstream industry. Probably myself and Dr. Mohammed Shawad have touched upon a couple of those, which include hydrocarbon-rich flaring gas, which include utility gases. These are still in TRL 1, 2, 3, 4. Still on the bench, still the technology I'm talking about. But it is doable, but it needs also some investment. So a ready-made solution isn't available for a very simple reason. I've said that clearly probably in the sentence. A tailored approach is required for each region, each country. Technologies are available, yes. I don't know, there was a comment mentioned that there aren't efficient technologies. I would rephrase that and say there are many efficient technologies. It's just a question of what and where. I'm very much so biased to plastic to hydrogen because this is hydrogen, so that's not really something I can comment on much. But it is doable. We've actually limited that and make it with scientific research. Produced at ground level bench 5 kilo per 1 pilot level from virgin polyolefin feedstocks. Light gases that contain hydrogen. The question is to desour those gases, which are light refinery blood gases, is how much it's going to cost, and that's a lot of money. Especially that we're talking about feedstock like solid waste, for example. Not to mention the investment in either a pyrolytic reactor or the hydrocracker or the gasifier, which depending again on the type of fluids you're in. I hope that satisfies
Yes.
both comments. Yes.
Patrick.
Regarding the question how to engage in say, development of hydrocarbon in Kuwait, first one, I think, was controlling projects out there or construction or development on, let's say, on the drawing board. Also, there must be technologies here, there must be activities which fit that. It's just make a good inventory, see what's logical, and don't start with the most difficult one. Try to find that low hanging fruit. Second thing is to, I would say, to also bring this to the table in the European Union, for instance, like in let's see what we can do. Let's start with an open discussion and let's see what's the best way. My idea is that to start with the most difficult one. Use what's there. Maybe there are revamps on industries which might open up let's say, gap to start initiating. When we started in our region, it was the same. Everything was free, and the policies were there, so the policies and the project need to be developed and seen. Otherwise, there's always a gap to be covered. So let's see development policies is very important. And see from the trust funding. Funding. We need to find funding. It's usually a co-funding thing. Europe can really offer some solutions there by stepping the projects that are there. Either the ones which are done or the ones which are not done, which are there. So that's the things we could, let's say, invest in the coming years. We are making some of this and everything. Comes from GGI and to see what can be done. We are very open to facilitate and I would say help because that would be a very good remark. I think country like Kuwait with its mature oil and gas market has a lot of the knowledge available. Maybe we need to restructure the knowledge a bit to get access to it. Can be done. If the owners can do it, we're on top of a very big gas field which needs to start now. The reason why we did this track out is the region needs a business. Our region's business was natural gas. Now that's, let's say, going to the past, industry. In a region like the GCC Kuwait, which has business, you know what your business is, but sometimes it's good to look into the future and see what future opportunities may offer for the future business. So it's an engagement you're in, and we want to help you with that, facilitate you with that. So first, in the country, second, engage with the European Union for all the states like the Netherlands, etc. Third is find smart projects, funding, and get it going. It's not rocket science, it's only complex.
Thank you very much, Patrick. I was listening to just to basically touch base on what Dr. Patrick was saying. On commercial level, at the moment, we're talking about domestic green hydrogen as a PV utility scale as well. We're talking about 2.15 of euros per kilogram hydrogen at the moment. This is changing profusely, 0.9 euros per kilogram hydrogen by 2030, depending on the level of movement. For waste, it's going even further down, because that's the scale that our partners and collaborators, whether in the Netherlands or Eastern Europe, are going to. So it's even going more reduction in prices. Gas is also a major industry. It's not depleting. We are the highest proven reserve region of the world. Hopefully those solutions and those TRL levels, whether from waste off gases or solid waste, could actually give us a plethora of good argument to win some funds from or third-party funds from international collaborators.
Thank you, gentlemen. Welcome.
Just one remark, I think, which is a very nice example. I worked 10, 15 years ago a lot for the Danish company, which is now bought by E.ON, colleagues, that started with offshore wind. So they had windmills onshore, and then they started to build windmills offshore. And of course, they didn't understand much, and some of these windmills didn't even survive 1 or 2 or 3 years, because the climate for a windmill on sea is very harsh. Now you talk, so they were very small windmills, and 10, 15, maybe 20 years later, you talk suddenly about 12 gigawatt windmills being built in the technology. So it starts with an idea, people that believe in that, and of course in the beginning you make mistakes, which is not easy as a human being, but you see this industry expanding. And of course they have their own problems, suddenly they get competition from China, etc. So of course you have to survive, but once you put our effort of human beings and of knowledge like from universities and research into these things, I love the saying from the US, if you can dream it, you can do it. You ain't seen nothing yet. We will have hydrogen production in a way that probably we cannot imagine right now. So that trust in ourselves as people, you will need to survive in such an enterprise. You cannot calculate the future. We have to make steps. And if you make too big a step, you get the arrows. Like pioneers get the arrows, but you have to believe that we can do it.
Thank you, Paul. I will come back again regarding the small steps, the small businesses with Mr. Jassim, but I'd like to ask a panel here, Engineer Walid, Wael, Engineer Abdelhadi. Engineer Wael, you are an international or a regional organization. What do you see maybe the challenges that are facing Kuwait or the region? Would like to focus on Kuwait compared to the other GCC countries. And from your point of view, since you've done, you're a regional organization, why are we? I know this is a hard question, but I like to answer. Why are we behind? Here's the elephant in the room.
Thank you, Dr. Shawar, for your question. Yes, it's an elephant in the room, but let's say, start the story since the beginning. What about natural gas here in Kuwait? Kuwait is a producer of natural gas, but the local production is not enough to meet the local demand. That's why, at the end, Kuwait is a net importer of natural gas. There is a big project here in the Sur, which is about 22 million ton per annum regasification terminal, and Kuwait has long-term agreements with Qatar and the other portfolio players in the market. So, the answer, or the first answer to your question, we are speaking here about transition in the country from oil-based industries like using oil for the power sector to use natural gas. And we already started this program in 2009 when we chartered floating storage and regasification units to import LNG, and now have a base terminal in Azure, as I mentioned. So this has started here in Kuwait to use natural gas in the power sector instead of fossil fuel, particular fuel oil, which is a high heating value, but at the same time has a low big amount of free competitive natural gas. I can say the challenge, the main challenge here, we cannot use here, in my opinion, natural gas to produce green blue hydrogen. As I mentioned, it's a country that needs water of natural gas. And even the resources of natural gas inside Kuwait, they are very complicated to be extracted. We are speaking about Jurassic gas field as an example. The country has started developing the field more than a decade ago, and now the field will be almost for each its plateau production of 1 BCF per day. So we cannot speak here about grey or blue hydrogen production. But if we go to green hydrogen, this would be a good starting point again, in my opinion, here in Kuwait, because the country is among the GCC countries with available renewable energy sources. In particular, we are speaking here about solar radiation. But I see, let's say, the delay to start. You have to start with the process since the beginning. You start to have a roadmap for the hydrogen, followed by a national hydrogen strategy. You have to set your targets. Until now, I see the country are focused more in importing natural gas in order to apply its own energy transition in the power sector. After that, I can see there are some opportunities for the green hydrogen. But the question to be asked is this green hydrogen production, which is expected to come here in Kuwait, for export or for the local market? This is also have to be addressed. But I can extract the answer as an example from China as a start. When United States started the shale war, producing a huge amount of natural gas, and now United States become the largest producer and LNG exporter in the world, they have done a lot of work to reduce the cost of drilling of shale wells. China at that time would like to repeat the same success. of the next stage, but they failed. And they said, okay, we are not in a hurry of time to pay a lot of money, to invest a lot to reach the same experiment or successful experiment of the United States. We have to wait and we will develop our own resources. So, in my opinion, to conclude my remark on this point, green hydrogen here in the country could be a good start for the hydrogen production, but with pilot project at the beginning. We cannot move directly from pilot project to the commercial level. Commercial level takes time, and even around the world still we are behind what are the announcements. Just to give you one small figure, today the export-oriented hydrogen project total about 15.5 million tons per annum of hydrogen. Only 0.2 million tons per annum reaches the final investment decision. So we are even on the global scale too far from what is announced by many countries. 2 million tons per annum already reaches the final investment decision after signing the political agreement, as Dr. Salem mentioned, which is one of the diagrams of the hydrogen. From or out of 15 million tons. So I'm speaking about 1 or 2%. So this is not a problem only in Kuwait, it's a problem globally until we can commercialize this industry to be an emerging factor in the world energy scene.
To overcome the dilemma of the availability of the off-takers, we can start small and grow. We have a ready-made application of this hydrogen production needed for the refineries. Steam methane reformers available, dedicated to produce hydrogen to satisfy the needs of the refining process. So we can start by demonstration plan. Of course, we select only one, for example, of having blue hydrogen and let's say a turquoise hydrogen, not black hydrogen. So we build as we go along. We build expertise, we build the knowledge, and then we can go beyond long-term projects. But at the beginning, I think there's no brainer because the uptake is available right away. It can be used immediately in the refinery because it's needed here. So I think there's no excuse to have to wait to have a complete roadmap and a complete national strategy. That's going to take a long time. So I think the best thing is to push to build, at least in the beginning, a blue hydrogen demonstration plan, as well as start with turquoise plan, and then start stimulating the economic growth for the byproducts of the CO2, solid carbon, and the CO2 emission, and promote as well focused research and development to meet the needs across the industry. I give you just one example about that can be help this. For example, the steel slag and cement dust from those two heavy industries can be reacted with CO2 emission to produce calcium carbonate. That calcium carbonate is a valuable product that can be used. We use it in the plastic industry as a filler. So this is typical, let's say, R&D that can be focused to help in that industry. But I think the starting point is we need to have a blue hydrogen project or have turquoise to get the start of the process. Otherwise, we will sell cells or the paper has been released, but it's kept in the shelf. There's no moving forward. So I think we need to push to have that.
Thank you. I promise I won't keep you here too long. 10 more minutes or so. A few topics. Talking about small steps and small businesses, Mr. Jassim here he will elaborate on it, but a business incubator or environmental business incubator for small business. He will give a few words on that subject matter. He will speak in Arabic, but I will translate afterwards. Mr. Jassim.
Thank you, Dr. شكرا للحضور. I'm sorry I speak Arabic. اليوم عندي أنا حاضنة بيئية، أول حاضنة بالكويت وفي الجي سي سي. اليوم دور الحاضنه لها 3 مهام. المهمه الاولى هي المشاريع والمبادرات والافكار البيئيه. اليوم هذه الحاضنه هي تجمع كل المبادرين واصحاب الافكار. 2 هي تخلق فرص للوظائف الخضراء. اليوم احنا محتاجين في دوله الكويت ان يكون عندنا وظائف خضراء. 3 اليوم محتاجين توعيه بيئيه للمجتمع. اليوم دور الحاضنه ان هي تقيم ورش، وقامت ورش لمده 3 اشهر من شهر 9 الى شهر 12 مع هيئه الشباب. هذه الحاضنه دورها شنو؟ ان الواحد يجي عنده فكره او عنده مشروع يقدمها. عندنا مستشارين في متخصصين في البيئه. اليوم عندنا مذكره تفاهم مع الهيئه العامه للبيئه. اليوم نقدر ندعم المشاريع من قبل الصندوق البيئي، لان الصندوق البيئي يدعم المشاريع اللي تخدم دولته. الشخصي يقدم الفكره، يقعد مع المستشار، يسوي المردود البيئي. المردود البيئي موجود في الحاضنه، وبعدها ينطلق في المشروع، ويقدر حتى يرخص شركته اذا كان هو من المبتدئين. اليوم عندنا فوق ال 50 مشروع، وعندنا 3 مشاريع نبي ننفذهم. اول مشروع هو السولار حق جزيره ام المرادم. اليوم جزيره ام المرادم قاعد تشتغل على ماكينه الديزل، فاليوم قاعد تلوث هذه الجزيره. فاليوم شكرا لوزاره الداخليه اعطتنا ابروف، سوينا الهوم ورك مالنا للجزيره، والحين ناطرين الدعم لهذه الجزيره ونحولها سولار. 2 هيئه الزراعه اعطتنا حديقه في الشاميه بان نطورها. و3 عندنا زراعه المرجان للجزر. اليوم هذه كل الافكار موجوده، ولكن احنا ناطرين يكون لها دعم. تدرون ان هيئه البيئه شوي بس يبي لها وقت، وبعدها نقدر ان ناخذ من الصندوق وندعم، او يكون للقطاع الخاص دور بانه يدعم هذه المشاريع. شكرا.
Thank you, Mr. Jassim. I'll try my best to translate quite information. So, eco business.
Yes.
Eco business.
Eco
incubator, funded by the government, and the fund of the environment, the green fund by the EPA. So this incubator focuses on small businesses, specifically green, sustainable businesses locally, to collaborate between the private and the governmental sector. You do have multiple projects in the country, a solar plant for a panel in one of the islands. You spoke of other projects in Amsterdam. And
الحديقه الشاميه خليناها عشان نطورها.
Yeah, it's a local park where they develop.
الاستزراع حتى ترى مع غزال.
Okay.
اي. استزراع في جزيره كوبا.
Yes, so a lot of local initiatives. I think this is an opportunity for small, very micro businesses to be engaged in the energy transition in the country. And anyone who's interested can apply. I think you have an application process with consultants. We can guide you in collaboration with the EPA of Kuwait, the National Fund, with the HIM Fund. And we're collaborating with KISSER on multiple projects. Oh, it's an individual.
No. Okay. First of all, thank you very much. I also took the opportunity to send an invitation to friend Jassim. Well, it was a very good colleague as well, but through an NGO, we signed an MOU, which is the Kuwait Society for Science, Innovation, Technology. Sorry, so we basically signed a recent MOU with the gentleman at the incubator of ECHO. What makes it quite interesting is not that they just have those projects that you mentioned. No. ECHO Consultancy, which is part of that incubator, has got a plethora of consultants, think tanks, networks all over the world, and connections that are in the private sector as well, but also well timed with the KEPA متخصصين ومستشارين في تخصصات متنوعة ولهم أيضا بعض من الأحداث والقطاع العام الخاصة بالعلاقات
وحتى ترى سوينا تقرير بيئي لخطوط الجوية.
And you have a report, environmental report on Kuwait Airways performance on sustainability. Thank you. My last question for the panel, of course, and the public they like to be engaged. Starting the hydrogen roadmap in Kuwait, we would like to know who do you think the main stakeholders, from your point of view, to collaborate with Kuwait if we want to establish a roadmap, if we want to establish a hydrogen valley. Who are the stakeholders? Who are the main parties to be involved? I would like to start with you, Patrick.
Thank you very much for this complex question. Well, starts with 5 starts with small. So I think you have to have communication of policymakers. We need to make them aware of this opportunity. And of course, there are some opportunities, there are challenges. It's not an easy path, it takes some time. So, I think during today, and from speaking to us from the questions, I think there is interest in the private sector. So we have to try to mature that and right make it more, make the private sector more aware of that and let's say, we are trying to quite direct, trying to be too direct, would be offensive to you as a people, that's actually not a lot of you have to learn out of their case.
You are too thick-skinned to be offended.
Good feedback. So you have to be proactive and be solid and be tenacious. All the time. And then also get them on the table. I would certainly advise also to talk to our colleagues in the MC, see if the Dutch policy can be, let's say added to you, because there are people involved in that who decide that in the public mind. Government doesn't know everything, private sector doesn't know nothing. Sometimes doesn't understand how the policy making works, so you need to make it better. I would certainly also go to Europe and say, listen, Europe, you have this concept of housing value. Help us understand the problem. Get them on the table. As Prime Minister visited Dubai last week, the same thing idea, which is part of course, but it's also very important to go out and get people to fight on the table. Tonight is a very interesting reception in the embassy. Makes you advertise for that. I think it's very interesting to see companies, people who are invited to get into the discussion. And tabs on the shoulder. And if you want to tabs on the shoulder, send us an app. Or do it for you, or get the question on the table. It is a question of repeating and doing so. So get the policy making on the table, ask the Dutch policy, the European policies to be reviewed and see what's in the field. It's the best field. And then the best improvement, as Francis said, there are very large opportunities, going from large companies to the small ones in the incubators. Small ones can accelerate the big ones in a very interesting way. Because the big ones have a certain way of operating, and the small ones take the decision instantaneously. That's a growth.
I think you can see also in the Netherlands it starts. I always love this cycle. It starts with a cult, a hype, and then popular acclaim. So in the end, you have to start with this, doing these projects, just like Patrick said, making them visible. Also for us, it would be interesting if some of you could visit the Netherlands and can see it, because I strongly believe in seeing is believing. And then the next step is, of course, this entrepreneurship. I'm also business coach at this, we call this Energy Venture Lab. And the Energy Venture Lab, for example, I coached, and those were former Shell employees. They said Shell is too slow. We want to make carbon capture storage work by sending the carbon by ship to depleted gas fields. Shell didn't have interest when they started this business, and now they are a serious player. Of course, it takes a few years, but there are quite serious initiatives which don't fit into the big picture. But in the end, if the government doesn't stand behind this, if regulation is not in place, you end up in a very difficult situation. So you need to get the government supporting some of the things, and I think also some of the big decision makers in Kuwait. Because as I understood, of course, you have a powerful way of making decisions as business people as well. So if some of them do this, I'm sure that we can deliver together here a hydrogen valley in Kuwait, and I think you can learn from the mistakes that the other guys made and become one of the leaders within consumable markets.
Well, thank you, gentlemen. Thank you for your valuable input. I know there's plenty to discuss, but I don't want to keep you any further. We're running a bit behind. So I'd like to thank you all for attending. Your Excellency, thank you for sponsoring and hosting and organizing this with us. Really appreciate the effort and the focus. Dr. Salem, all the experts, thank you very much. It's been a pleasure. I hope it was a fruitful discussion. Thank you very much. With that, we conclude today's workshop. Thank you very much. Your Excellency. Oh, please.
Now, before you close, I wanted to reciprocate our thanks to you again, to the University Kisser, and our delegates from the representatives from the Netherlands for bringing this unique setting for all of us here in Kuwait. I think it has potential for following up on various sectors. Hydrogen, of course, very much in focus now, but we could elaborate on more things. And we started, as I said at the beginning, we start on a journey now, and we should stay in touch with each other. And therefore, I also hope that everybody will come tonight to the reception at my residence, not at the embassy office, but at your residence. There are some invitations here still for people who have forgotten it or would like to be invitation. Let's stick together. I'm sure that we've managed to touch on something that's valuable for both our countries, and that's all.
Thank you for the kind invitation. As you heard, His Excellency is inviting us tonight as his residence. You can check with Mr. Fadi regarding the details. Right? With that, we conclude the session. Thank you very much. I would like to invite you on a small lunch. And please stay together, talk, explore the opportunities.